Now, let's look at the other areas. Let's look at growth. Now, that's a rabbit and an elephant. There's two kinds of churches, right? There's rabbit churches that are very simple and very small. And then there are big elephant churches, which are more institutional churches. Probably most of you, like myself, have that background. If not, if you're not in one now. Now, I work with both, and there's also the hybrid that we call a rabbifant. That's, what can you tell me what that would be? What would that be? Anyway.
A church that goes really fast.
Or a cell network kind of thing?
They have big church, but then there's some groups that are little churches within the big church. Some groups are viable churches that would baptize, celebrate the Lord's Supper, and do the things that normally only a church would do. All right. I learned the value of rabbit churches when I first went to Honduras. I didn't have any concept of that. All I knew was the large traditional church. That's all I knew. And I went to seminary and only reinforced the institutional mentality. When we got there, the big institutional church did not fit at all. Totally out of place. People were extremely poor. We had to reach hundreds of very tiny villages. They couldn't afford the big buildings. They couldn't afford the paid pastor. They were incredibly poor. Many of them didn't even have a monetary economy. They just were survival, live off the ground. And, it was just did not fit. The educational level was too low for them to get the education they needed to pastor an institutional church. It was just totally out of the question. So we had to start little house churches, tiny churches, started out no budget, just let it happen. And it was very difficult for me because I was walking into an area that I had absolutely no experience. And I made a lot of mistakes. I won't tell all of you, you get up and walk out that door probably. But I did learn the difference between an elephant church and a rabbit church, and I've worked with both. Now in India today, the largest church planting movements ever in church history going on except for China. And there for the same reason, going to both places, especially in northern India, where the government is far more hostile than in southern India, where there are a lot of more traditional churches. But in northern India, as in China, millions of people, persons that are coming to Christ in these little rabbit churches. What's peculiar about a rabbit?
That's fast.
And reproduce very rapidly. In fact, we did I don't have the statistic in my mind right now, but I think it's 3 years. A pair of elephants would give you 3 elephants, and you would increase the total overall weight by just a few percentage points. But the rabbits in 3 years, they have large litters, very short gestation time, and they grow up and reproduce real quickly. You would have millions, something like 50 million rabbits if none of them got put to death. They're all allowed to live. And they would outweigh the elephants 100 or 1,000 times. Okay, now we are seeing some of that same dynamic happen. In northern India, they're extremely poor. No money. There's no way they can go the elephant route. However, I want to explain something where it's working really well. It's the elephants that are preparing and ordaining and setting out the rabbit church planters. There's a good, not in all cases unfortunately, but in many of the cases, there's a good rapport between the elephants and the rabbits. It works very well as long as the rabbits don't bite the toes of the elephants and the elephants don't trample on the rabbits, which unfortunately often they do. We've had very serious cases of that where the pastors of more traditional churches feel threatened, and they find all kinds of fault with the rabbit churches and sometimes attack them, even report them to the authorities, where church planting is illegal and get people in serious trouble. There's even been deaths as a result of elephant pastors attacking the rabbit churches. Unfortunately, it's been both ways. Sometimes the rabbit church leaders have attacked the elephants mercilessly, and cause deep problems. But that's totally unnecessary. It's not a matter of one is right, the other is wrong. It's a matter of analyzing the field and seeing what will work. Look at your people, what will work. Now, I live in Central Florida now, in an area where virtually 99.999% of the Christians are way over here on the elephant side. I went in waltzing into a church and talked to the pastor about these things, suggested, having cell groups and all that, but there's no way. I just frustrated the pastor. He wanted to do what I said. He talked to his leaders about it. He even had me talk to him, but it was, there was no way. Okay, so I'm enjoying the elephant, okay? I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's just a lot of retirees and people, they just were not ready for the rabbits. But you don't push it on them, and, against their will, and so forth. And I do believe in a large city like in Austin, the rabbit hybrid could probably work very well, and some of you may be doing that. But the big thing there is don't let your cell groups or your missional groups or whatever you call them, don't let them just be another Bible study. They have to be real churches, okay? Real churches. Baptizing, celebrating the Lord's Supper, doing everything that a church would do, even though they're a satellite of the larger church body. That will work, but someone's going to be tough as nails to make sure it doesn't just degenerate another Sunday school class without really doing the